There's a video out that got a bus driver suspended. The video shows the driver looking at her phone while she's driving a bus full of kids. She's suspended, a lot of questions. Will there be more trouble? Will she get fired? Ashley Johnson has the full story.
Disturbing cell phone video out of Old Bridge, New Jersey shows a school bus driver texting while driving a bus. The driver has been suspended, and Superintendent David Cittadino posted a statement on Twitter which reads in part, "I am deeply disturbed by this lack of concern for student safety by an adult who should know better." To this end, the driver was immediately removed from routes in Old Bridge.
It's pretty disturbing to hear that somebody, especially a bus driver, would text and drive while there's so many students and little kids on the bus.
Shamrock Stagecoach Bus Service, which operates the bus, says the driver has been suspended until further notice. I'm Ashley Johnson, reporting for Chasing News.
Thank you, Ashley. All right, I'd like to bring in our A+ panel to weigh in on this issue. Frank, Allison, let me start with you. On one hand, I see that people so overreact to texting and driving that I wonder does the punishment fit the crime if she loses her job? What do you say?
Well, I mean, as a family law attorney, and I've had cases like this before, the reality is the bus company has a right to limit their exposure and say, look, you did something illegal, you're going to lose your job for it. But whether or not she gets into greater trouble, whether or not she's civilly sued, she was certainly negligent in her behavior. Whether it rises to the level of recklessness, that's kind of a question about how long she was looking at the phone. But she did something illegal.
Frank, what do you think? I mean, they're going to demonize this person. And texting and driving is one of these hot button issues. You look at the fatalities from the National Highway Transportation Safety Board, and the truth is it's a very small percentage, texting and driving. Is this blown out of proportion?
Bill, I think there's a lot of attention to it because there are kids on that bus. And that bus driver, do your job. Get those kids safely from one spot to another. And you look at the video, she's kind of looking down, looking up, the hands moving. You got kids on that bus, and that's a lot different once you have them in your realm to take care of from point A to B than if you're driving a Jeep.
Do you think, though, with this whole thing with texting and driving, we're missing the point? People have embraced technology. Why don't we just make text easier to see while you're driving? Why not a heads-up display that lets you see it? I have suggested this. In driver's ed, maybe what we ought to do is teach distracted driving. You get a kid behind the wheel and you kind of poke out and play the radio loud and see if they can read the signs and remember, because we're sending all these kids out there to drive and they're not ready for it.
Well, the reality is you're actually advocating that we increase the number of deaths on our roads. I mean, distracted driving is a problem. It's not just texting, it's operating a phone, it's looking in the mirror, it's putting on makeup. People need to be driving when they're driving.
Allison, all respect and fairness, not only did I not say that, I said the roads would be that much safer if we taught people how to do more than one thing at a time.
I disagree. You're never going to be able to legislate what is going on in that car. The only thing a cop can see is whether or not you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Hands on the wheel, looking straight ahead.
Though, if you had a heads-up display, you wouldn't have your eyes off the road. You'd be looking straight.
You'd be
they
doing
do it
something
for your
else.
Speedometer, all these other things, right?
People got to put the phones down. Just put them down,
leave
put them
it
away,
there.
put it down.
We're busy and we're able to walk and chew gum at the same time. I think we need better training.
We do have a driver.
Leave it there. Frank, Allison, great to see you guys. Thank you. All right, let's bring in meteorologist Dan Zarrow with your weather.